they have this big misconception that Democrats like to help poor people. But so I joined the military when I was 18, and that's when I realized all the Democrat policies is not good for the country, you know? Like they're
See my hat?
Yeah. Oh wow. Thanks for your service, sir.
You too. What'd you do?
I was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
I didn't deploy, but I was in 1998 to 2000. So 1998, the reason I became a Republican was when Bill Clinton was going out of office, right, in 1998, and all his policies was like he was closing down bases,
right,
around that time, like, and like really limiting funding for the military, and that really kind of like my GI Bill was about to get affected, and then when George Bush came in, like he changed the whole GI Bill thing, like he gave more money to active duties. Like we didn't have to use our GI Bill if we're gonna go to school while we're in active duty. When it was with Bill, I think we have to tap into our GI Bill. Like it starts sticking it out. So that's the whole thing. Why? And then I started looking at started doing research. I started seeing that Democrats doesn't really care about national defense, which is, I think, the most important part of the whole thing in the country, to keep our sovereignty and our lead in the world. Right, we have to be the most powerful through the military also, in order for nations to follow us. And then I start getting into the researching about the pro-life movement and how Democrats doesn't care about really women's health. They just want to they're using women's health for abortion purposes. That's their whole drive. They play in people's emotions with their women's health narrative, but in reality they just want to abort babies. I don't know.
So I'm in town because we're doing the cleanup, and you said you knew the guy. So so what do you think it's got?
Yeah, I like what he's doing, man. I like that he's registering people to vote, like knocking door to door. I think that's the most important thing, because if people vote, they could definitely have an effect. It's not in this area because we're predominantly Democrat, but like those swing states like Pennsylvania or Ohio or I don't know, even New Hampshire. Like the more you register to vote and the more you're educated about who you're voting for, I think the more people will vote properly. Because that's the thing, the media is driving everything, right? And if you're parents that don't have time to research, and you're just listening, you listen to the news and what the media narrative is, you would never vote properly, I think. Without proper education, like the Republicans, for instance, going on the ground and educating people about what the Republicans stand for, I think is what's gonna help Republicans win in elections. Because this all comes down to what's being fed, man, to the media. That's why I'm so scared. I have 3 children, and in school already they're being fed that. So you have to constantly tell your kids, like, research, and educate yourself about the issues, you know.
So how'd you find Scott?
Well, it's through because I follow a lot of Republicans on Twitter, and I saw him and I like what he's doing.
Yeah, and he still has long hair, because you asked about that.
Yeah. Right.
Have you ever heard of Brandon Straka?
No.
Of Walkaway? Have you heard about the Walkaway campaign?
Yeah, walk away, right? That's the walk away from the party, right?
Yeah,
from
right.
the Democrat Party. Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like I said, limit my my information that goes out, because I'm scared to get, especially in this area.
I gotcha. Where are you from originally?
Philippines.
The Philippines, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I'm telling you, dude, there's a lot of people like me, but nobody wants to come out. Like, I have a police officer friend who works for the Port Authority. He voted Trump on the first election, and he also was a Democrat, but being a police officer, he didn't like the Democrat policies towards police officers, and he's telling me there's a lot of them in Port Authority police that doesn't talk about it, but they are voting Republicans because of the support that they get from the president.
So you voting in 2020?
Of course.
Who you voting for?
President Trump, man. That's the thing though. You know, I always tell my wife, even though we won't make a difference here, because this state is run by liberals, at least we have our voice heard, or at least we have our number counted.
Right.
And we're showing support.
Well, I think that's what, one of the purposes of Walkaway is that there's there's a movement to be able to say, hey, it's okay,
Right.
And and Brandon, Brandon is the head of the Walkaway, and then Scott is doing what Scott's doing, but they kind of work hand in hand a lot of time because you'll see them together a lot, and they're very there's a lot of synergy between them. And in fact, I'm from Long Island, but I actually live in North Carolina.
Right.
So I actually came up for this cleanup today from North Carolina. I flew in yesterday. So.
Oh, yeah. So you're one of the New Yorkers that's moving down south and getting away from the freaking massive taxes that
I'm living in North Carolina because that's where the Army sent you. Home is where the Army sent you.
Oh, you're still in the military?
Well, I retired down there.
You settled.
So,
Gotcha.
So, but I mean, I've tried moving back home, and it's just ridiculous,
Man, I'm telling you. I mean, we're even us. We're contemplating about moving out.
Well, my folks, like when I first bought my house down there, I told my dad I was paying $1,300 in taxes, and he's like, "Yeah, it's criminal how much you have to pay a month." And I'm like, "Dad, that's a year in North Carolina, and I got a 4-bedroom house on a
right.
2-car garage. It's almost a half acre.
You said $1,300?
$1,300 a year. Yep.
That's fucking insane, dude. The $1,300 is quarterly for me.
Gotcha.
Not even. It's probably by twice a month.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro.
Well, hey, gonna sign off.
All right, bro.